So how much money do you need for a 1-week trip to Tokyo? This is the cheap edition. Let's start with something that's surprisingly cheap. Where are you gonna stay? As you can see here, Tokyo, Japan has plenty of hotels that are $20 to $30 per night. This one is $21 a night depending on when you book it. Cheaper hotels are often smaller and farther away from popular tourist attractions. So for 7 nights, that'll put your hotel cost at $147. Uh-oh, whoops. Next, let's price out transportation. The Tokyo one-day ticket will let you ride any public transportation in the city for 1,600 yen a day. That's $12.38. Let's get 7 of them, which is $86.66. Spooky. Next, food. When I was a poor student in Japan, I ate a lot of gyudon. That's a barbecue beef bowl, and as you can see here, the small one is about $3. You can add miso soup for $1. Obviously, you won't eat this for every meal, but let's use it as a price guideline and give you $7 for each meal 3 times a day for a week. That's a $147 food budget, and I'll throw in an extra 100 for great sushi once or twice. Let's throw in 500 for clubbing, sushi, souvenirs, fashion. But remember that so many beautiful parks and temples in Tokyo are absolutely free. 1K for your flight, layovers make it cheaper, and bam. So how much money do you need for a 1-week trip to Tokyo? This is the anime fan edition. You're going to want to stay in Akihabara, Tokyo's pop culture capital. For accommodations, let's give you 3 nights in the Manga Art Hotel. That will be just $61. For the last 4 nights, we'll get you this traditional Japanese room where you sleep on the tatami floor, so you can pretend like you're in the beach episode, or the class trip episode, or whatever you want. $291. For every single meal, let's keep things simple and eat at themed cafes. You may be familiar with maid cafes, but you can also go to idol girl cafes, muscle man cafes, cafes where they cosplay a different anime each month, butler cafes, shooting range cafes, cat girl cafes, space maid cafes, ikemen or handsome man cafes, train themed izakayas, anime song karaoke cafes, Square Unix cafe, the Gundam cafe, strong girl cafe, and so on. Using the maid cafe as a reference, this will be generally an $8 entrance fee, $12 meal, and $10 drink, 3 times a day, 7 days a week, $630. We're running out of time, so let's give you $600 for anime merch and artwork that you have to hide from your parents, $10 for the Studio Ghibli Museum, $83 for transportation, and $2K for your flight. And there you go, kaboom. So how much money do you need for 1 week in Tokyo? This is the not cheap edition. Like if you have comfortable disposable income but aren't exactly impulse shopping at Louis Vuitton. First is surprisingly affordable. Home sharing is a super cheap way to stay in popular parts of Tokyo in style and comfort. Like this full downtown apartment will cost you $46 a night. For 1 week plus fees, that's gonna be $431.64. No, a food budget isn't as simple, but a quality meal isn't gonna break your bank. This traditional Japanese breakfast from Shinpachi Shokudo will cost you $4.84. For lunch, this popular Takahashi ramen will cost you $8.55. Let's give you $20 a day just in case. For dinner, you can do all you can eat and drink at my favorite izakaya, Torikizoku, for about $30 and have all the yakitori you want, shown here. For entertainment, let's add 100 for this Tokyo party boat, 60 for these rooftop desserts and drinks at 2 Rooms Grill, and 600 for clubbing, fashion, and souvenirs. $10 for the Studio Ghibli Museum, $83.30 for a week of unlimited train rides in Tokyo. This flight from LA is $805, but let's give you $2K for your plane ticket. And bam, and next I'll do the anime fan edition. So places you should visit in Tokyo, Japan. This is the anime fan edition. Number 1 is free of charge and out of this world. This is a giant Gundam robot statue that moves, performs shows, lights up, and is 65 feet tall. On Odaiba, a man-made island in the waters of Tokyo. And once you're there, the whole place feels like a location from a sci-fi movie, including the Diver City Shopping Center and an amazing automobile museum. And also the Japanese Statue of Liberty for some reason. Next, let's go from sci-fi to cute and spooky anime with a couple of maid cafes. First is the Vampire Cafe in Ginza, Tokyo, where charismatic vampires who also often happen to be maids will serve you delicious gothic and spooky themed foods and drinks. You'll be paying about $10 per drink and $20 to $30 per person for food. Like this steak is about $20 and the sea bream is about $13, so maybe about a $50 outing per person. Next is Tokyo's first maid cafe, the Cure Cafe. I put this one on the list because it is arguably Tokyo's most classy maid cafe, even being recognized by the Japanese Tea Association as having outstanding tea and snacks. This is a maid cafe you can bring your entire anime-loving family to, which I would not recommend for some of the more risky maid cafes advertised along the Akihabara Strip. The food here is cheaper for about a $7 omelet on rice or about an $8 champion pork cutlet over curry rice. With drinks, I'd say this is about a $40 outing. Next, let's stay in the Manga Art Hotel in Chiyoda, Tokyo. This will be around $32 a night, and if you don't mind a dormitory-style sleeping arrangement where you basically sleep in the walls of a library, the place is packed floor to ceiling with manga and anime concept art books that you can read to your heart's content. So there's a full day of anime tourism in Tokyo for about $150, even including like $20 for transportation and some snacks. Here are Japanese chain restaurants that you should know about, and you can find all over the country. First, Torikizoku. This is a favorite. This is a very affordable and delicious chain izakaya that I probably went to almost every week when I was a student in Japan. Most of the grilled chicken skewers or yakitori are 2 for under $2, and depending on the location that you're at, it's usually about $27 for all you can drink for 2 hours. The atmosphere is comfortable and casual like most traditional izakayas. The food might not blow your mind, but I think it's really good, so it's always a safe, dependable bet for dinner or drinks. And sometimes it does blow my mind for the price. I lied. I recommend the Mune Kizoku Yaki, the spice version. And if you're going to a popular location like the ones around Shinjuku, I would recommend making a reservation on their website. Sometimes the lines can get long. Next is Bikuri Donkey. This is like a family restaurant that has good hamburgers, but in Japanese style, so without the bread, you often eat it with a fork and knife. Bikuri Donkey means the surprised donkey. I don't know why, but it made this list because of the elaborate design and decoration that every one of the restaurants has. They look like they were constructed out of materials from a pirate shipwreck, or maybe like the post-apocalypse. I also don't know why, but I think it's fun. You can think of this chain as like a better Denny's, but with a vibe from that jungle attraction from Disneyland. Next is The Hub. This is a chain of imitation British pubs. It's pretty well known for being a place where people go to have drinks and meet new people, especially travelers. So if you're looking for a place to meet some Japanese people that might be happy to have a conversation with you in English, this might be a good bet. To be honest, it's not a favorite place of mine. I feel like there are just so many more exciting locations, but it's pretty famous and it deserves to make the list. And I've never been to a real English pub, so I don't know if it's similar at all. Places I recommend you go in Osaka, Japan. First is Kurumon Street, possibly the place that has the best food in Japan. This is a covered shopping street with amazing affordable street food. Fresh seafood like crab, tuna, and sea urchin. It's a great lunchtime location to go with your family or on a date to sit on the street and enjoy the vibrant atmosphere and maybe some fresh fruit. Kurumon Market has been around for over 190 years, and it's earned the name Kitchen of Osaka. And Osaka has been called Kitchen of the Nation, hence why it might have the best Japanese food ever. Next is Nipponbashi. This is right next door and has a very similar atmosphere, but I would recommend exploring this neighborhood for dinner and a charming, intimate cafe or bar for your evening. There are just as many eating and drinking options as the nearby Shinsaibashi or Amemura, but the atmosphere here seems a bit more relaxing and mature, even if a bit more expensive, while still maintaining a raw, almost retro street food vibe, like this lo-fi and retro game bar at Tsugihagi. Next is a golden Osaka date spot. This is Bar 36 on the 36th floor of the Swiss Hotel in Namba, Osaka. There's a panoramic view of the Osaka city skyline that's just as beautiful at nighttime as it is during the sunset. It's free for anyone to enter, and drinks and food here aren't all that expensive given the location, like $8 to $15 for most normal drinks and $15 to $20 for their food, which they call their house signature nibbles, which I don't know, it's fun to say. They'll also often have live music here, which really adds to the atmosphere, and I'd recommend dressing up a bit for this one. Anyway, please leave a comment if you'd like to hear more. So day 1, preparing for my trip to Japan. Right after booking my plane ticket, I immediately want to book the places I plan to stay. I actually wish I did this a month ago. Places I was looking at then already have no availabilities now. But anyway, I feel like home sharing has very affordable options, like this house for $34 a night. It's beautiful but has more strict rules, so watch out. If you like Hello Kitty, there's this place for $42 a night. This apartment has art that you can look at when you fall asleep. And in this one, Naruto will watch you as you sleep, if that's what you want. Finding the best options takes a lot of time, so I try to start this as early as possible. Next, I'm gonna start cooking as much as possible to save money. Like 14 chicken legs here are only $5, and that can be 2 days of dinner. I want to avoid eating out as much as possible before my trip so I can afford to eat out more when I'm in Japan. So cooking is the way to go, and it's also good for a healthy diet. Last, I want to be able to see my friends and family before I leave, and they might have busy schedules, so as soon as possible I want to start making plans with people close to me. Plans that don't cost a lot of money, like cooking at our houses or going on a hike. And that's enough to begin with, so let's just start getting excited about our trip. It's gonna be so fun. So this train ride in Japan costs $7,000 to $15,000. The Shikishima train suite is a 4-day, 3-night luxury train tour around northern Japan. If costing around $14,000 didn't make it exclusive enough, you also have to apply and get accepted to be able to have a room on this train. So if you can casually drop that kind of money and pass the application, what do you get? Endless beautiful scenic views of northern Japan from the window of a seemingly sci-fi futuristic train car, while you enjoy gourmet French and Japanese cuisine, or drinks from their 24-hour cocktail lounge, or enjoy a train bath as the landscape brushes by you, which I actually really want to do that. And look how good their breakfast looks. Yum. Anyway, the destinations you stop at change with each season, but mainly consist of famous shrines and temples and bathhouses. I feel like I'd be taking like 3 baths a day. Amazing cultural events and demonstrations are also included with each stop, and you sleep in a train car like this. Honestly, personally, I think there's a lot of other things I'd like to do in Japan with that kind of money, but I'm sure it would be an unforgettable experience, and it would be a wild, amazing date. Would you go for it? Hey, Wes here. I hope you found these videos helpful and more to come, so let me know in the comments if there's anything anything you'd like me to cover regarding traveling Japan, learning the language, or the cultural differences, or anything at all actually. And I also do plan to do expanded videos on each one of these topics, really going into the budget of the hotels and how I choose to select what I do per day, especially within the context of working in media in Tokyo. So keep checking back. Please subscribe, and thank you for watching.